My name is Richard Iacino, and I am a mental conditioning coach here at One Tennis Academy. I have a degree in sports psychology, and I've been working with everywhere from youth to professional athletes for the last about 7 years. Confidence is interesting, and I typically say it's like a roller coaster. It tends to go up and down, and a lot of times athletes base confidence on success and failure. So success will lead to a lot of confidence, and failure will cause drop in confidence. So we find that the players that stay the most stable with their confidence are athletes that are able to always keep in mind the things that they're doing well, even through those failures, being able to identify the good things, and also making sure they're understanding what they need to work on even in times of success. So it keeps them balanced, and the confidence that the players that tend to be the most prepared and ready going into the competition, the ones that feel that they've done everything they can, tend to be the most confident. There we go, now you're letting it rip. Yep. A lot of times we find that when they're young, it's about mastering skills and working on the tennis technique that they've been going through with their coaches, repetition over and over and over. The older that athletes get, the more mental the game becomes. So when they get older, they really need to fine tune their mastery. They need to make sure they're resilient, they're staying with their own game. They're not letting their opponent throw them off. They're not losing their focus when they're playing. They're really able to maintain their confidence. They're able to reset between points. It's the athletes that have the mental edge that find the most success.
I mean, I wasn't thinking, I was just hitting mine.
Learning how to reset is really key for success in tennis. Tennis is a very unique game in that it's one of the only sports where there's a constant reset. Between each game, between each set, the score goes back to 0-0. No other sport does that. So we have an opportunity in tennis to reset between each point, between each game, between each set. Everybody's going to reset in their own unique ways. Some people are going to learn to take deep breaths to relax and reset their anxiety, their frustration at times. Other players are going to maybe use their racket touching their strings, but learning what's going to work for them. To get that constant reset is what's really going to help them set themselves apart in regards to the mental game. The most difficult moment, I would say, everybody's a little bit unique. The mental game is really interesting, and I enjoy working with mental games so much because everybody has a unique approach to it. They have their unique things that set them apart for the better and also for the worse, right? So I think it's gonna really depend on the individual. For some, it's the preparation leading up to a match. Let's say there's a tournament on Saturday. Sometimes the pressure starts getting to them on Wednesday and they're building it up. So for an athlete like that, learning to manage some of those pressures, those expectations, starting as early as Wednesday is going to be really what's helpful for them. Others, it's going to be during match. How do they learn to, like I was just saying, reset? How can they maintain their confidence? Make sure they have a plan, they're ready to go. And others, it's going to be after the match. I find sometimes athletes are so busy beating themselves up, so busy reminiscing on what they did wrong, rather than, like I said in the beginning, taking away both the good and the bad, making sure they're staying consistent. That's going to be most important. So really one of the most important things that I can help an athlete with in regards to the mental game is building their own self-awareness and learning what they need, because everybody's different. So when I can identify that, I can help start building a plan for them to master their own mental game. I get asked from families a lot, how can I best support my athlete? What can I do as a parent? Because all parents want to do is help. Their intentions are always in the right places. But sometimes we need to realize that there are times where we're giving them so much confidence that it almost winds up leading to more expectations and pressure. Other times we need to realize that sometimes our reactions on the sidelines, whether it's a parent or a coach, when there's a mistake and we're having a negative reaction, that we're going to put that energy and that frustration that we're feeling onto them. So we need to be very mindful of our responses when they're playing, and also how we're talking to them before and after. I say it's always important to give them a little space. Let's say after a tournament, let them bring up the topic. Always try to focus on things they did well, and maybe give a positive sandwich. Start with the positive, ask them what maybe could have gone a little better, and end with the positive. And move on. Let them reflect and review. But again, it's going to depend on the athlete. But my biggest recommendation is let them bring the topic up rather than you being the first one to give it to them.